Today, let's remember these triplets that passed before their lives really got started. Their story begins in the rolling hills of Tishomingo County, Mississippi, with parents John Thomas and Eula DePoyster, and is a vivid window into early 20th century life in the Deep South, a journey of a family with quiet, enduring strength in the face of profound loss. John Thomas DePoyster, born in Leedy in 1890, was a young man of 25 when he married Eula McGoy on December 15, 1915. When they married in 1915, most of rural Mississippi and Tennessee was still lit by kerosene lamps. They would have seen the lights come on across the South in the 1930s and 40s. The most poignant chapter of their lives unfolded in the summer of 1918, while the world was gripped by both World War I and the onset of the Spanish flu pandemic. Eula gave birth to triplets on July 18th, in an era where infant mortality was high and medical resources in rural Mississippi were scarce. The family faced a devastating series of blows. P.T. DePoyster passed away first, on July 31, 1918, having lived only 13 days. A.C. America's Crittenden followed just 2 weeks later, on August 15, 1918. J.T. John Thomas Jr. survived through the winter, a beacon of hope for 9 months, before passing away on April 14, 1919. The triplets were laid to rest under a single headstone in Little Flock Cemetery in Burnsville. The family would face one more heartbreak a few years later, with the loss of another infant son in 1923. Following the loss of the triplets, the DePoysters participated in the common southern migration patterns of the 1920s. By 1920, they were living in the industrial hub of Birmingham, Alabama. However, their hearts remained in rural education and agriculture. By 1930, they had settled in McNairy County, Tennessee, where they would remain for over 40 years. It was here that JT transitioned from the fields to the classroom. He became a teacher, leaving an impact on the community through the local school system and his active participation in the Retired Teachers Association. The DePoysters built a stable, faith-filled life. Despite their early losses, they successfully raised 3 children. Grace L., their eldest daughter, Shadrach, who eventually moved to Alabama, and Dewey Lee, their youngest son. Having lost 4 infants between 1918 and 1923, they lived to see the mass production of antibiotics, which fundamentally changed the survival rates for the generation of their grandchildren. Living in McNairy County, Tennessee, in the 1930s, they navigated the hardships of the rural South during the economic collapse and the subsequent New Deal era. John Thomas passed away in April 1977 at the age of 87, followed by Eula in April 1984 at the age of 86. Though they spent their final days in Memphis care centers, they were returned to Selmer, Tennessee, to be buried at Lake Hill Memory Gardens. Their story remains a testament to a generation that endured the harshest of personal and global trials with grace, leaving behind a legacy that grew to include 3 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Meanwhile, back in the Little Flock Cemetery, the triplets' headstone stands alone. While that stone marks a moment of profound sorrow, the obituaries from decades later tell the full tale, a story of a young couple who refused to be defined by their losses, choosing instead to build a life of faith, education, and family that spanned nearly 100 years.